Life's too short to drive boring cars. So what do we have sitting there in the snow? Well, unfortunately, it's another casualty. Sadly, Hyundai and Kia just can't break free from some of the problems that they've experienced in the last 6 years. As you're all well aware, of course, there's been a lot of issues plaguing the Korean company, and while there's millions of very happy customers, the unfortunate reality, there's many vehicles out there with huge amounts of recalls. And not simple recalls like burnt out backup cameras or some other strange little anomaly. We're talking significant recalls, for example, cars burning. And today we have a brand new rolling right off the press. But before we get to that, I want to mention I got an email from John Robbins who asked the question, sure, there's been a lot of engine issues with some of the older Hyundais and Kias, but what about the newer model cars? Well, to the answer to that question, we'll get to that. And the reality is, yes, older cars are seeing a lot of problems, but sadly enough, there's some very late model cars now too that are popping out of the woodwork with some of these same issues. One of the big issues are engine fires. And the very unfortunate part is many of the engine fires have not only put people out and created vehicles that needed roadside assistance, but sadly there's even people that have lost their lives as a result of the car burning down and they weren't able to escape the vehicle quick enough. Now if you check the NHTSA website, they'll dial in, and if you're concerned about your particular vehicle, there's some checks you can do to make sure that you don't have a vehicle that's on that list. But how do you go about doing that? Well, here, let me show you. Here we have your typical car. We have a beautiful little Elantra, fairly late model. Right down there at the base of the windshield, down here there's a 17-digit number. You can either find it there, or if you open the door, on the door jamb, usually at the bottom or on the edge, we'll give you that 17-digit number. You can then go to the NHTSA website, and that's going to help you track down if you have any outstanding recalls with your particular car, whether it's a Hyundai, Kia, or any other brand for that matter. But the worst thing is a lot of these engine fires are a result of some machining process. During the construction of these vehicles, there's machining, and some of the burrs and the machining wound up in the oiling holes. Well, the oiling passages are required so that some of the high friction surfaces are lubricated and maintained accordingly under high stress or higher RPM. But the sad part is what's actually happening is some of those orifices are getting plugged off. And when they get plugged off, that means you're no longer getting oiling to those surfaces. For example, rod bearings is where you're really starting to see the issue. And that creates excess heat, hot spots, and then of course catastrophic boom! So any number of things can actually happen during this heating effect. Smaller issues, for example, like check engine lights because of oil pressure problems, all the way to seizing engines, or worst case scenario, it just keeps running and starts to burn. And that's what's starting to happen, as we're finding out there, sadly, by many consumers. Do you want a list of some of the vehicles that are impacted by this engine fire recall? So in case you're wondering, I'll just give you a few high-level cars. For example, right here we have a 2011 to 2019 Hyundai Sonata is one that's high on the list. Very popular car, European style. But let's take a quick look. These Sonatas have been very popular because of the European styling. And as we circle around, we have a great wing on there, beautiful tail lights, wonderful exhaust tips, a nice bold style with flares, wonderful European style handles, as well as a beautiful mirror like this, very sleek and aggressive. How about alloy wheels with all the cars now? And wonderful projector style headlamps, produces excessive amount of light, and a stylish grille to boot. We also can't forget the very sporty looking front spoiler. So these cars bring a lot to the table. Well, you want more? Another one is this beautiful Santa Fe. So a 2013 to 2018 Santa Fe Sport, or the 2019 Santa Fe, similar to what we have right behind me here. Very popular. I would even go as to say very attractive SUV. Wonderful LED style headlights, beautiful alloy wheels, and a front bumper that makes most other SUVs look like plain cottage cheese. Some great styling on the hood. You've got these humps there, and some great plastic to protect the body moldings, to protect the body from rocks. Beautiful chrome accents and more with keyless entry. How about glass top on the roof? And look at these beautiful mirrors, very much almost like a Lexus. Circling around, I love that rear window. And this great little overhang. The vehicle looks ultra sporty with the Sport 2-liter turbo and all-wheel drive. Beautiful tail lights. So unfortunately, these made that list as well of problematic vehicles. So if you have one or are buying one, check the NHTSA website to confirm or deny. And there's a few select years of the Hyundai Tucson as well, like this one here right here. Again, another very popular SUV that many people are loving. Love the large front grille, very bold. Definitely love the detail on there of this Hyundai. And how about the headlights? Very attractive, very modern. And you've got alloy wheels here too. Great mirror, and overall this car has a great stance. And here's another little hot rod on the list, is Veloster N model right here. Beautiful, attractive, but if you look, it's in the back 40 here, probably waiting for an engine. But let's take a look. I personally think these vehicles are very sharp looking. You've got the very aggressive front nose on there. Love the headlight style. And of course they have this great revised front grille in the N. Look up here, beautiful mirrors. Love the style on the rocker panels there. And how about that little carbon wing with the sharp little overhang? Again, one great exhaust tip and yet another. Extra little vents. And gotta love those rear tail lights. How about keyless entry? Beautiful vehicle. These cars are very attractive and a great alternative if you're looking for something small, stout, and compact, and with great performance. But unfortunately, many of these have had the engine issues as well. So if you're looking at one, be sure to check the NHTSA website so you don't get yourself into a heap of trouble. But the only saving grace is most of those vehicles can be put away. Turn them off and take them into the dealer and you're good to go. But unfortunately, the latest recall, the latest thing that's dogging and flogging the brand is unfortunately about 485,000 vehicles have now been recalled for leaky ABS module. But what's the problem with that? Well, the reality is what can happen is it spouts brake fluid, potentially causes a fire. There's already been 11 cases of reported fires within the United States alone. No personal injuries yet. However, it's clear that there's going to be a long-term lasting effect on this. And while it's a relatively simple fix by changing a fuse and an inspection on the control module, the sad reality is it does affect many potential buyers and owners of these cars. Even more to the problem is the sad reality, you can drive the vehicle home, turn it off, park it in your garage, and then you can actually have the car ignite while it's parked, turned off in the garage. And that's why now Hyundai is advising owners of these vehicles, if you check the NHTSA website to confirm that you have one of those vehicles, that the motivation is that you're actually to park that vehicle outside so you don't have any fires, within your garage or home. And unfortunately, vehicles impacted by these ABS control leaks are as follows. There's a couple of Kias. For example, the Sportage 2014 through 2016, the K900 between 2016 and 2018, 2016 to 2018 Santa Fe Hyundais, 2017 and 2018 Hyundai Santa Fe Sports, as well as 2014 and 2016 Tucsons. So I hope that helps all of you. And at the bottom line, if you're not sure if your vehicle or the vehicle you're shopping for has those issues, check the VIN. It's that 17-digit VIN that you find at the base of the windshield. Be sure to check it out. It's going to tell you the whole story if you go to NHTSA site. And on top of that, if you want to learn more about the Hyundai and Kia saga with engine fires and the history of the brand, be sure to check out that video. You're going to love it. It's going to share the whole story. Hope to see you real soon. Catch you then. Bye-bye.